What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jessica Hickson, and I spent 5 years working my way up to the top of an MLM before realizing they're just not all that they're cracked up to be. My goal with this channel is to rescue some Huns, to prevent some Huns from becoming Huns, and to also give those a voice who have left the Hun bot industry like myself. In my last couple videos, I've touched on faith manipulation a little bit, and in my opinion, It Works is quite possibly the worst about faith manipulation. And you guys are asking for some more content regarding faith manipulation within It Works, so I'm here to deliver. But first, of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell if you'd like to be notified every time that I post. Give this video a big thumbs up if you do like this type of content, and if you wish, follow me on all social media platforms at the Jessica Hickson.
It's what you do, making me feel like I'm falling, and when you move.
Today's small business shout out goes to Little Stitch, I want to say Texas. It's Little Stitch TX. I want to say it stands for Texas, but I'm not positive on that. I will obviously leave all of her links in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourself. But she sells cross stitch kits and sewing supplies that are completely designed and made by her. And can we just talk about how cute these are? Like, I'm nuts about you. Are you kidding? That is so freaking cute. That's totally something that I would get my husband for like our anniversary or Valentine's Day or something like that. Meowdy partner, yikes Krispies. I literally just love all of her clever little sayings that she puts on all of her cross stitch things. I just saw this Karen one too. So awesome. But you can find her on Etsy, and I will leave all of her links in the description below. And back to the video. So like I was saying, you guys really wanted some more content regarding faith manipulation within MLMs. I can personally speak on faith manipulation within It Works because that's a company that I was within. And so I saw all of this faith manipulation firsthand. Today, I'm just gonna be reacting to a couple of videos that I found online of some well-known, led by faith kind of leaders. And I will say this first person I'm gonna cover is so respected within the company, and I absolutely adored her before I met her. She's a very godly woman. I feel like she genuinely believes that God is pulling her in the direction of using network marketing to make the world a better place in some way. I don't agree with the way she's going about it, and I don't believe that God is actually calling her to do this, but I do genuinely believe that that's how she feels. I actually met her at one of our conferences, and my opinion changed a little bit. So basically, I had run into her outside of the conference, like at the hotels where all the distributors are staying. I had run into her there. Of course, there are like hundreds of thousands of distributors everywhere, so I guess she was probably annoyed everyone asking her for pictures or what have you. But I was with my upline at the time, and my upline had asked her to speak to our team. So all of our team was huddled in a hotel room. We were all just kind of like game planning or whatever. And my leader had asked her to come in and just give a little bit of a like hoorah type speech. She was so turned off and basically just came in and said like, let's go, you got this, now I need to get going kind of thing, which I'm sure, like I said, she was overwhelmed with all these people wanting pictures with her and everything else, but it rubbed me the wrong way that we were such a burden to her for her to just come in and be like, hey, definitely will be cutting that out. But for her to come into a room of people who love and adore her, like worship her, to come into a room and act like they were a burden to her, it kind of just like put me off. But like I said, given the circumstances, I guess I understand it, whatever. But that's who we're going to be covering for the first part of today.
So that being said, I didn't have a real long-term perspective, and I didn't invest in myself a lot. I was just going. And then I hit this phase in my business where I just hit this slump, and I didn't want to get out of bed. I was happy. I should have been happy and I had all this money and had this huge team, but I felt so overwhelmed.
I will say that I know exactly what she's talking about. I experienced the same feeling, and I would say that most of the distributors that I was working directly with all experienced that same feeling as well. And what I'll say about it is I'm almost positive she's going to say that personal development is the answer. And while I think personal development is a great thing and it can definitely help with mindset in certain situations, I think that within MLMs, it's used as a tool to suppress feelings that you're feeling about the business, to suppress like negative feelings that you're feeling about it, so that you will keep pushing forward and stay in a positive mindset so you don't bring anyone else around you down with you, which I don't feel is okay.
Feeling like, how am I supposed to take care of everyone? And I just felt really empty. And that was whenever personal development really started to take a more important role in my life. And I realized that if I would allow it to, God could use this business to help transform me as a person, not just me as a businesswoman.
God would not transform you by asking you to manipulate other women in this type of situation. Like, that's not a God thing.
And so self-development, whether it's, I'm not going to tell you a time frame, but I don't care if it's 2 minutes, I don't care if it's 30 minutes. When I'm putting on my makeup, or whenever I'm getting ready, or if I'm cooking, I don't cook a whole lot. I don't know why I said cooking. When I'm putting things together in the kitchen, when I'm making a shake, okay, in the kitchen, I'll just Google Tony Robbins or Gary Vee, or I love.
What do you guys think about Tony Robbins? I'm curious because he was pushed hard within our MLM. Like, we were always encouraged to go to events that he held. So when I went triple diamond, which is the rank that I left as, my gift to myself was to go to a Tony Robbins event. I don't recall how much I spent, but I know that it was over $1,000. I want to say it was closer to $2,000. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that, but it was very expensive. And what I realized when I went to his event is that the way that an MLM runs and the way that he works are very, very, very similar. Like, they use some of the same tactics to get your mind right. And just the similarity between the two the entire time that I was at that event was just like mind-blowing to me. So I'm just curious if you guys would be interested to hear about what that experience was like, how it related to the MLM and stuff like that. I have a video on my channel about me walking on fire. I haven't rewatched that video. I put it up a long time ago, so it's probably very cringy, but I have a video about me walking on fire, which was at the Tony Robbins event. So if you guys would like to hear about that entire experience and how it relates to the MLM, definitely leave a comment below and let me know.
My goal and desire in this business is to leave the world better than I found it. And if this is the platform that God's given me right now to do that, then I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use It Works as that platform. And so for me, encouragement is huge.
Like I said at the beginning of this video, I do genuinely believe that she feels genuine about the fact that this is the vehicle that God's giving her to change the world in some way. But to me, that's not a God thing. Like, God would not ask you to do some of the things that people within MLMs are expected to do when they're in.
Putting goodness out there, I truly believe what it says in the Bible. I believe the universal law that however you see it, that what you reap is what you sow. What you plant is what's going to come up. You don't plant a watermelon and get green beans, right? Like, you don't plant watermelon seeds and get green beans. If you are planting negative thoughts of self-doubt, not putting good things out there in the world, then you can't expect good things to come back. And so I feel like so many people encourage me and give me love and show me love because I'm constantly putting out good things, and you're doing awesome and you're doing great, not just within my team, but all over the place. And so spread encouragement wherever you can.
I absolutely think it's important to spread love and light everywhere you go. And just like I think she genuinely believes that God has put this in her hands as a vehicle to whatever changes she wants to make in the world. However, when used in the wrong context, it's very manipulative, because forcing a positive light on people, or forcing a positive light on your situation, or forcing positivity in any way is only suppressing the feelings that you're really feeling, which in the end will just boil over and can do a lot of harm mentally to people. And I know that from experience.
Encouragement, I do that every day. And then along with that is kind of like encouragement, gratitude. Keeping a gratitude journal, writing down things you're thankful for, things that went well. You guys, on the hard days, on the days whenever you've been in this business for 6.5 years and it feels like an uphill battle and nobody's going in the computer and you want to quit and you're just like, is it even worth it? Am I even good at this anymore? You can go back and reflect on those things, those wins and those victories that you had. And you're training your mind to see the good.
Training your mind to see the good is not always a good thing, and hear me out on this one. When you train your mind to see the good, I feel like a lot of times what it does is it pushes the red flags to the back of your head. So any of those red flags are then seen as just negative thoughts. So you just keep pushing them down and keep pushing them down, when God could literally be screaming in your face like, this is not for you, I would not ask you to do this, blah, 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 blah. You're pushing those back because you're trying to force your mind to only see the good.
Having a gratitude journal, putting notes in your phone, whatever it is, but waking up every single day and spending even 60 seconds just thinking about, what am I thankful for? I have this weird thing that I do every morning. I've done it since 2011 when I read this book about gratitude. No, 2012. And I wiggle my toes every single morning, and before I get out of bed, and I count on each toe. So I wiggle my toes and I start with my pinky toe, and I just name 10 things that I'm grateful for. And it might be a warm bed, hot coffee, my daughter's smile, the fact that I have a toothbrush. Like, I hate morning breath, just a good toothbrush. I feel lucky to have that. Running water in my house, 7 toilet. We have 7 bathrooms in this house. I could pee anywhere I want. Like, just
No judgment on people who have 7 bathrooms, but why do you need 7 bathrooms? I don't understand that.
the simplest things. Being thankful for that and having that gratitude, that attitude of gratefulness and being thankful, whether you believe in God or whoever it is, like you think gave you all that, having that attitude of gratefulness and starting your day off that way, it changes your entire business. You approach it from a totally different mindset. You don't approach it from a mindset of fear and desperation and I have to do this. It's man, I get to be a part of such an amazing company. I get to love my family today.
And this I absolutely do not agree with. Like, of course, be thankful for what you have and that you get to spend time with your kids and that's why your house is a mess, or like you get to have food on the table and that's why there's dishes in the sink. Like, I get it, okay? I get it. However, they use this twisted psychology to manipulate people into thinking that actually like what they have their hands on is the best thing in the world and the only option for them. So when they say things like you get to be a distributor or you get to do this or that within the business, it's their way of trying to like manipulate your thinking into thinking that you are lucky to have this opportunity and that this opportunity is such a blessing.
It starts from the minute you get out of bed, before your feet even hit the floor, of knowing that you are grateful for whatever circumstance you have and wherever you're at. Not that you can't push forward and do bigger things, but that you're grateful for what you've got in this moment. There's this, I won't preach too much longer, but there's this verse in the Bible that says, to whom much is given, much is required. And I always think about that. If I'm not thankful for the things that God has given me and that I have in my life right now, how could I ever be bold enough to ask for more, right? So I always want to be thankful for what I've got, for the team that I have, for the customers that I have, for who I've got, knowing that I'm going to ask for more, but man, I'm thankful for what I've got today. So
man, the irony of that clip and another clip that I'll be showing later on in this video is interesting.
How do you explain the auto ship to somebody that you're signing up as a distributor?
okay, so I never talk about the auto ship. I never say the word auto ship. What I say is when people are coming in, I tell them, you have your first month, the company is automatically going to send you whatever paycheck you earn, because when you buy your kit, you're commission qualified. And I make sure they understand what commission qualified means, right? Commission qualified, you are eligible to earn your commissions. That's all that means. It means the company's going to go, okay, is Carrie commission qualified? Check. Carrie gets her paycheck this month. I said, so if you want your paycheck, you got to be commission qualified. Here's how awesome our company is. The first month, you're automatically commission qualified.
That logic was used on every aspect of the business. It was like anytime something new rolled out or anytime we're talking about an aspect of the business that people generally like didn't take well to, it was our company is so awesome that, for instance, for our loyal customers, it was our company is so awesome that we get the same discount that you guys do. That's how much we value our customers, is that you guys get the same discount we do. With the auto ship, it was like our company is so awesome that they allow you to make sure that you're gonna get a paycheck by running your auto shipment. Or like our company is so awesome that you get paid for helping other people be successful. When in all reality, it's basically an incentive to recruit more people, get more people underneath of you so that the people at the top can keep getting paid more. So this next video is the same girl, different video. This one is basically her talking about a leadership retreat that they just had, which I'm totally gonna do a totally separate video on the leadership retreats and how those went and the vibe there and what, in my opinion, they were all about. But in this video, she's just touching on like how the retreat went and like what God showed her.
And so I just wanted to share a couple of things with you that I'm sure you already know. You're all amazing leaders, so I'm not preaching, but just some things God showed me this weekend. And so these are all over the place, by the way. So one of them was, I felt like for the first time this weekend, I was really able to let go of feeling like the team that got me to ambassador is who's going to get me to black diamond. And that was a hard realization for me. Friends, family members, there are people that aren't coming with me.
That is sad to me because there's this idea when you're within the MLM that you have to cut out all of the haters or the people who don't want it. And she just said that she has friends and family who don't want it and that she had to like kick them to the curb, which like honestly she's doing them a favor. But
another thing is that one of my girls had a really neat saying, and she had said before she went into the weekend that she was praying for transformation over education, that her goal was...
I know I'm pausing a lot in this video, but I probably should just save this. I keep spitting. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. I probably should just save this for the leadership retreat video that I'm gonna do. But I just wanna touch on it just a little bit. So she said that this leader said that they were praying for a transformation. So in these leadership retreats, trying to figure out how to word this without sounding culty. But basically, these leadership retreats are for transformations. So leaders go into this and they're like hoping that people are going to be like moved by the leadership retreat. So normally you go in and the first couple days is like breaking you down. We did where you write on a piece of paper like all of the things that are holding you back or all of the lies that you've told yourself, all of the traumas that you've dealt with. You write them on a piece of paper and then we lit them on fire and like let them go or whatever. And I'm not saying that these are like bad exercises to do, but like as I said before, in these kind of situations, it to me is just a manipulation tactic, okay? So we would burn this stuff on the piece of paper, but then the problem with that is all of these people that you're within this leadership retreat with, they now know the most intimate parts of your life, the traumas that you've dealt with. Like there were leadership retreats that I went to where people were off crying for the majority of the time. And then the last day or two, it's like building you up, pumping you up, telling you you can do this, whatever. Like it reminds me of the military where it's break you down, mold you into what they want you to be and build you up, you know? But then it also makes you feel closer to these people that you're at the leadership retreat with. So you start to feel like family and like you don't want to leave them because they are the people who know the most about you now. They know the most intimate parts of your life. You feel the closest to them. They are like sisters to you. You don't ever want to leave the company because these are the people in your life who are the most important. They know the most about you. They're supporting you the most and like you've gone through the most together. There was a time when I got back from one of my leadership retreats and like the theme around the leadership retreat was The Greatest Showman. And there was a time where I could not listen to the songs on The Greatest Showman soundtrack without getting emotional and thinking about like everything that happened at the leadership retreat and all of the people that I saw genuinely hurting and crying and just like struggling. It's very culty in my opinion.
Another thing that I realized, and this is kind of, this might not make sense to everybody, but you know how you'll hear one person say one negative thing and you can let all this other negative stuff roll off your back, but there's like one thing that'll stick with you. Well, someone shared something, somebody that was on my team shared something last year, and she just used this phrase about what we do and it being icky, and I can't explain it. I can't explain what that did to my brain because I respect this person, but it got in my head and I started thinking, if she feels that way and she's a leader with the company or a leader with the company, like how many other people feel that way?
And that is a God thing. I think so many times in these situations, we're so used to pushing these red flags to the back of our head and feeling the positive things or the things that we want, that we personally feel like we want, that we personally think is the vehicle for us. We make those into be like God things because it's what we want. But the stuff that we don't want to hear and the truth, like what she just said, obviously that's the truth because there are so many of us who do feel that way. It's so easy to push those feelings back because it's not what you want to hear. So you focus on the positive things as being God things when really, to me, that's a God moment. If it's sticking in your mind and you cannot get rid of that thought, I feel like that is for a reason, you know? I don't know.
I got tears in my eyes as these girls were standing up and talking about these different tips and sharing, because I realized that this is going to sound so dumb talking to this group of leaders, but I hope y'all hear me, that what we do is not icky, that fear and that one word and that sentence had gotten stuck in my head and I was believing it. And it was really holding me back in my business and holding me back from posting certain things or messaging or following up in certain ways. And so anyway, I was able to let go of that, and I think a lot of people on my team were able to let go of that, because that girl is someone who has influence on our team, and so I know it wasn't just me that heard it, it was other people. I think I've shared before how I've had kind of like a hard time with dreaming. I can set goals, but as far as dreaming, it's been tough. It's something I've talked to with Carla about, and Dr. Dawn, and Pam, and Mike, and Mark, and Cindy. I've talked to everybody about it. I'm always trying to get tips on dreaming bigger, because I feel so happy, and I feel so content, and I love our life, and you know, I don't want for anything, and I know a lot of you feel the same way. And
what's wrong with that? Isn't that what you work for? Isn't that what you like put all of your time and energy into, is building this dream life, this life that you're completely happy with and completely content with? I don't see the problem. I don't see the problem here. Is it me? Do you guys see an issue with it? I get like wanting to strive for more, wanting to feel like you fulfilled your purpose, but if you're like completely happy and content where you're at, why not ride that out? Because when you start pushing for the next thing, you're gonna stress yourself out. That happy and contentment is gonna be gone. And then like, I don't know, I just don't get that.
we went around the room. I had 40 ladies that all stood up and shared, and shared like one word that described them, and then 2 other words that described them, and one of them was like their main word. And then on the back of the card, I had them write down 2 of their dreams, not goals, you know, not presidential 2017, but their dreams, like the thing that God had given them that could never be taken away. And you guys, as we went around that room, and to hear all these women share their dreams and the things that God had placed inside them that can never be taken away, like it's the sun is so bright here. It reminded me that we have such a responsibility and a purpose as leaders to help cultivate and nurture these ladies and men too that are on our teams that have these insane dreams. Because as we went around, it was the most incredible thing to hear that this one had a heart for missions, and this one had a heart for the homeless, and this one had a heart for children, and this one had a heart for learning disorders.
See, I think all of this stuff is fabulous and wonderful to have those types of like dreams in your heart to make a bigger difference. I totally am on board with all of that. But I believe what is happening here is in the same category as people using their traumas to recruit people. They find this thing that people are so passionate about and would do anything to achieve. People would do anything to be able to say that they helped the homeless, or that they made a difference in the lives of special needs children, or whatever. Like, people have these deep passions like rooted within them, and so they use those as like a motivator to get them to work harder so that they can ultimately achieve that goal, which 9 times out of 10 we know does not happen within MLMs. So if you have those types of dreams and those types of like deep rooted passions within you, MLM is not the answer. Like, I know that it's tempting with like all of the dollar signs that are being flashed in front of your face or whatever, but there are other ways to raise money about the things that you're passionate about. The chances of it happening with your MLM are very, very slim, and the chances of you losing money within your MLM are way higher. Okay, so this video is same leader, but different video. This video is gonna be talking about her being in a funk and what she learned through the funk.
Crazy funk, and I haven't really known how to put it. And I haven't really known how to name it. You know how sometimes you need to name your funk so that you can get out of it? That's kind of how...
I can't say I've ever named my funk, but maybe that's the thing.
I've been feeling like, man, I'm not a good wife, I'm not a good mom, I'm not doing good at my business, and just believing a whole lot of lies and a whole lot of things that just I know aren't true. Deep down, I know they're not true.
This whole business is literally about suppressing negative emotions as a whole and covering it up with positivity, which in turn has the opposite effect.
One of the things that I realized was I have been feeling like God's calling me to something and I don't know what. Really calling me to some kind of like real estate, or maybe somebody would call me and say, hey, I want to do this business. Do you want to do it with me? Whatever. Well, I keep praying about it. God has given me nothing. And I'll pray about it again, and I'll say, God, I'm ready, whatever you've got for me. And it's just like God keeps saying, no, there's nothing there, you know, nothing's happening. And so what I the other night, like I said, I've just been feeling really on edge and not being very kind to my husband.
I will say that MLMs cause so much strain on marriages. Thank God mine was okay throughout this because my husband really just doesn't give a shit about anything. But a lot of marriages struggle when one or the other is within an MLM. I would say that probably 90% of the people that I was directly aligned with when I was in had struggling marriages in some way or another, which is so sad. I would say that these marriage issues wouldn't exist without the stress of the business or the money that they're putting in without their spouse's knowledge or the time that's getting taken away from their family. And yeah, I would say a lot of those issues wouldn't exist if it weren't for the MLM. So it's sad.
I had let fear get in the way in a lot of ways. I don't want to be emotional. I'm pretty fearless, but I teach my team to be fearless, but I had been very fearful lately. I've been very fearful, like fearful that my best years are behind me, fearful that people think what I do is a joke, fearful that my whole team will crumble in 1 month somehow. Fearful of a lot of things. I don't know how to explain it. Just fearful, believing a whole lot of lies that I know are not true.
So I think this is an internal struggle that a lot of distributors within MLMs feel, and they are very valid feelings. However, like she just said, they're made to believe that they're lies that they know are not true. We know that people think that what they do is a joke. We know that people think that all they're doing is manipulating people. We know people think that they're a victim and that they're brainwashed. We know these things, but when you're within, you can't see that type of thing. So you make yourself believe that these are all lies that you're being told by the devil so that you can keep moving forward.
I felt like part of what God's been telling me is it's okay to put all of your eggs in this basket right now, Ashley, because this is the basket I have for you, okay? Like there's not another basket. And I keep wanting to make another basket. Does that make any sense at all? Like I keep wanting there to be all these other baskets that I can fall back on. And I realize that God is telling me, you've got this basket. This is the basket I'm giving you right now. And
I think that a lot of people when they're within MLMs are looking for other baskets due to like the uncertainty with the business. And as you can see here, she's getting extremely emotional about it. And I know that if I was in this position, I would be extremely emotional because I know that God is giving me these signs to like go elsewhere and do other things, but I'm twisting it in my head to fit the narrative that I want it to fit.
I hate crying. Oh my gosh. Plus I'm in a parking lot and there's like parents passing me, but, this is the basket that God has got for me right now. And I know very well that the enemy, that Satan, comes to divide, he comes to steal, he comes to kill, he comes to destroy. And so if he can lessen my, belief and lessen my, faith in a God that wants good things for me, and in a company that has been there for me for 4 years, that is changing lives and making such an impact, then why wouldn't he want to take that away from me? Why wouldn't he want to steal that? And so I am telling you,
this is truly so sad. It's beginning to sound a little bit culty, if you know what I'm saying. Like if Satan's holding you back from being successful within your MLM, go Satan. Like Satan knows what's up if that's his work.
today, that if God is telling you to go all in, you need to listen to him. If Satan is telling you lies, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, that this will never work for you, that it's all gonna crumble. It's all gonna crumble was like constant fear and anxiety the entire time I was in the business. Whether I was at the executive rank or the Ruby rank and thinking that my 5 distributors were gonna crumble, or at the triple rank with hundreds of distributors underneath of me, it was a constant fear that if one person quit, like one crucial person to your chart that you made up, then it was all gonna crumble and it was gonna be over. What I can also say is that I'm so guilty of doing all of the things that she's doing in this video, like hearing the signs from God and pushing them back because it's not what I wanted to hear. And this goes for like while I was within the company and also when I got out. I was out of the company for a year before I ever even addressed the fact that I was no longer with the company. And that was my fear of the backlash I was gonna get from other people. I was still collecting a paycheck at that time, just gonna be totally transparent. I was still collecting a paycheck at that time. And so I was worried that if I spoke out about anything that was
true about the business, the company, or the team I was on, or anything, that certain people who have been known to make moves in order to get people's accounts canceled out was gonna do that to me. And I didn't have another form of income in order for my family to be financially okay if that happened. So I kept hearing God in my head tell me, like, you need to speak up about this. You need to tell the truth. You need to speak your truth and let people know what's going on behind the scenes. And I kept pushing it back and being like, no, I can't put other women down who are doing this just to support their family, because I was doing the same thing. I can't tell my story because of whatever reason I had in my mind at that time. I kept giving reasons of why I could not tell my story, why I could not physically cancel my account out. I had excuses for everything. And all that I kept hearing him say, and I'm sorry if you're religious, this is probably feeling a little bit preachy and you can click off now if you want to, but what I kept hearing him say was, trust me and I will provide. And I was like, I just couldn't trust him. I kept turning it around in my head and being like, well, what he means by that is just keep your account open a little bit longer and maybe things will turn around, or maybe someone's going to enroll someone underneath of you. It's going to give you your spark back in the business. Well, what he means by that is XYZ. You know, I would always have something in my head and twist it about what he means by that. And then the moment that I canceled my account, everything fell into place. Literally everything. My income was no longer an issue. People who were within the company who were feeling used and abused and they were still in the company were then quitting the company and reaching out to me saying, like, thank you so much for sharing your story. I have felt the same way, and I know that I was guilty of treating you the same way. Like, everything fell into place as soon as I started listening to that voice in my head that I kept pushing back because it didn't fit my narrative. And I think that's exactly what she's doing here in this video. I have so many more examples of faith manipulation, but I think I'm gonna end this video here because it is getting a little bit long. But I will end with saying, our God is not a God of confusion, and he will make things very clear for you if you just listen. And if you're hearing that voice and you cannot let go of whatever it is he's saying to you, and you just keep pushing it down further and further because it doesn't fit your narrative, that's probably a sign that it's from God and it's not Satan trying to deter you from success. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy this video. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for another video, and I will see you then. Bye!